These guys too much. They're very motivated to do well, and we were down by 10 points, so it's not that much with the way our defense plays and shutting people down, and the way our offense plays by scoring points. So it's just a matter of straightening out a couple things, and the guys always believe. They never don't believe. They always think they're in the game.
Hey guys, I got no help in here, so I'm going to call you out. Just let me do it right here. Sam.
Andy, what did you tell Patrick?
I told him I love him, man. I'm proud of him for leading the way there. And this started all the way back, in the preseason. So in the off-season program, he's a humble kid, man, and he works his tail off. And as a coach, you respect everything that he does there.
Adam. Oh, go ahead, Sam.
The two touchdowns you had in the third quarter, the fourth quarter, seemed like similar plays. Was that something you had spotted just in scouting and film work that might work?
Yeah, they were different plays. They're good. My assistant coaches are unbelievable. I mean, Eric Bieniemy with the game plan and coordinate the thing, and then the young guy, all these young guys I've got contribute, and they've all got their spot in which they put plays in, and Greg Lewis, David Girardi, I mean, they all added plays in there, and heck, they all work. They never tell me which one does it, but these plays show up.
Adam.
Yeah, Adam. Listen. He's a great kid. The only reason he had problems was because of the high ankle sprain, and that's rough on a kicker, especially on that plant leg. And so, as a matter of just getting through that, the tweaks that thing presents to you, really for the rest of the season from when he was hurt. But he's dirty tough. I'm not going to say for a kicker. I'm just saying he's a tough kid. Normally the kickers aren't the toughest guys, and this one here, he's a tough nut, man.
Coach, you had touchdowns with Pacheco and Tony and all the rookie defensive backs. How hard is this to accomplish with so many first-year contributors?
Yeah, I'm proud of those guys, all of them, the young guys. I mean, heck, we have all these rookies on the back end of the defense, and they kept getting better every week. They brought great energy. Pacheco and the guys on the offensive side, MVS, Juju, KT. I mean, these are all new faces, and they just stepped up. I mean, they've done that all year, and then here comes KT into this thing late from the Giants, and he has a couple of the biggest plays of the game. So I mean, it's been like that. MVS, big plays. Juju tonight, big plays. Pacheco, big plays. Sky Moore, big play. These guys, my hat goes off to them. That's a tough thing to do in this league, man. These are the best players in the world right here, and I felt like these were the two best teams. I mean, my hat goes off to Philadelphia, Jeff Lurie and Howie Roseman for what they've done with that program, and their head coach is a legit guy. He's great for the National Football League, man. He brings great energy, and here he is. He's a young guy, and he's in the Super Bowl after his second year, man. It's a tremendous compliment for him and the city of Philadelphia.
Andy, how does it feel to win a second one and incidentally have it be against the Eagles? Then one quick follow-up.
Yeah, Vi, listen, you know this. We go way back. So I loved Philadelphia. I loved my time in Philadelphia. Phenomenal people. And we had some great years. And so I left the organization on a positive note with Jeff Lurie and really everybody there. And there's still three of their real good players. There's still guys that that I had a chance to coach, and I'm so proud of them for the careers that they've had. So it's a great city. It's a great city, as is Kansas City. Been very fortunate, man. Very, very fortunate.
Coy.
Congratulations. We talk so much about how smart and how talented Patrick Mahomes is, but there he was again playing through an injury. How do you describe to us just how tough
Yeah, listen, he grew up in a locker room. He's seen the greats, and he strives to be the greatest. I mean, without saying anything, that's the way he works. I mean, he wants to be the greatest player ever. That's what he wants to do, and that's the way he goes about his business. And he does it humbly. I mean, there's no bragging. He could stand up here and give you these stats that are incredible that he's had, but he's never going to do that. That's just not him. And so we appreciate that. And then when it's time for the guys around to raise their game, he helps them with that. He's one of these great quarterbacks make everybody around him better, including the head coach. So he's done a heck of a job.
Herbie.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on the second win.
Thanks, Herb.
Earlier in the week, a game like this would be
Hey, you can stand up, Herbie. Oh, you are. I'm sorry. No, go ahead. This is my favorite guy. He's one of my favorite guys. Go ahead.
You had mentioned earlier in the week a game like this would be won in the trenches. How do you think your front five did against this Philadelphia Eagles defensive line?
Yeah, so I thought, you know this too, we talked, but I felt like this was going to be the big boy game where both your lines were going to have to really step up and play well. And they did, both sides. I mean, that D-line battled like crazy, and that offensive line battled like crazy. And everything wasn't smooth, but they kept going against a very good football team that has good lines. Yeah.
All right, sorry, we got time for 4 more. Patrick's waiting. Go ahead, Mike.
Andy, only 13 other coaches have won multiple Super Bowls. What does it mean to you knowing that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm honored to be whatever. I don't even know that stuff, but I mean, I'm honored to be in that. I've been very fortunate. You know, I've had a lot of great players that have helped me get to this spot and great coaches. So I respect the game, though. I respect all those guys and the jobs that they've done. And if I'm mentioned with them, I have to think about that one for a while.
Right here, Coach.
Andy,
No, you're not out. It's him. Thank you.
Andy, you said earlier in the week you didn't know what your future was going to the last 5 seconds before the game. That you might have a decision to make. You said you might have a decision to make after this game. Was there any chance that this was your
Listen, I mean, I look in the mirror and I'm old. My heart, though, is young. I mean, I still enjoy doing what I'm doing. I got asked that 50 times here. And finally, I just go, whatever, man, whatever. And that's a good friend. Jay Glazer's a good friend. So, I mean, he's probably telling me to get my tail out. I'm too old, but I'm good with what I'm doing right now. So.
He led.
Yeah, Coach, okay, just back to the game. Halftime, you're down 10. Get the turnover on defense that helped out. What do you say to the team at halftime? Hey,
Yeah, listen, we were down. You're right. We were down by 10, and that's not a lot with our defense and our offense in this type of a game. I mean, you got 2 of the best teams in football playing, so that's not a lot of points. And you just got to hang with each other, and good things will happen. And that was all I had to say. Listen, these guys are all in. They do a heck of a job. We have some great leaders on this football team.
Last one, Adam.
Andy, just to make
Yep.
sure I understood what you said earlier, you will be coaching the Chiefs again next season?
Well, listen, Adam, if they'll have me, I'll stick around.
Yes.
All right,
All right.
thank you.
Yep, thank you, guys.
I've been on your back this whole season, right? You carried everybody.
I think it was where we started at. We started in Texas in the off season. Meeting basically a brand new group of receivers and learning what they did well, learning what we could get better at, and guys leading from there. Man, I thought the guys accepted the challenge. It was a crazy year, but we ended up on top. Man, you can't ask for any more from those guys.
When you had the scramble play, I'm wondering just how much was your ankle hurting tonight and how much was it hurting on that specific play?
I mean, it felt great until I kind of rolled it a little bit. I thought I felt really good, and then that happened, and I had a lot of soreness going through into halftime, and was able to move it around, kind of get taped up a little bit, and go out there in that second half. And it didn't feel good, but I was going to leave it all out there, and I'm glad it was enough for the win.
Patrick, what does this mean to you in terms of Andy's success tonight, too, and your relationship with him?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the greatest coaches of all time, and I think everybody knew that. But these last 2 Super Bowls kind of cemented that. And to have someone that is such a great person who gets the best out of the players and to become men and players, you wanted to do that. You wanted to win those Super Bowls for them, and it was it's great that we did that. And like you said, man, we're not done. I'm gonna have them around here for a little bit longer at least.
You mentioned the extended halftime helped you guys kind of rally and get your energy up. What do you recollect from the extended halftime? You probably weren't fully.
Yeah, no, I was proud because I talked a little bit, but it was everybody. It wasn't like I was the only person talking in that locker room, and we just challenged each other, man, to leave everything out there. And I don't want to say we played tight in the first half, but you didn't see that same joy that we play with. And I wanted guys to just know that everything we worked for is for this moment. You have to enjoy this moment. You can't let the moment overtake you. I thought the guys did that in the second half, and they fought to the very end. And that's all you can ask is guys leave everything they have on the football field.
10 years ago, you tweeted, man, how awesome would it be to win a Super Bowl and say, I'm going to Disney World. Here you are going for a second time. How do you put all of this into perspective?
It's hard, man. It hasn't even sank in, I don't think, even yet. I mean, I appreciate it because of the failures. I mean, the failure of losing the Super Bowl and losing the AFC Championship game, it gives you a greater appreciation to be standing here as a champion. Luckily, I'm going to Disneyland now, so I have Disney World and Disneyland crossed off, and ultimately make some more parks so I can go around everywhere and do a world tour.
Patrick Jones talked about you guys being counted out all season. Does that make this win feel more special?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say we were counted out, but I mean, there was a lot more critics than there was the previous years I had been here. And I told them at the beginning of the year, I said, as long as Andy Reid's coaching, we're going to have success as an offense, not trusting the leaders that we have on that defense. And so to go from a team that wasn't, I wouldn't even say majority picked to win the AFC West to win the Super Bowl, that speaks to the guys that we have in that locker room.
Better than the week. You feel great, right?
Yeah, I felt really good until I kind of aggravated it a little bit, but it was. I mean, you're in the Super Bowl. You can worry about getting it healthy in the off season. So I just kind of fought through, and we were able to win the game.
What do you think of Jalen Hurts' performance? You know, you had an MVP performance, but if they had won, he probably would have been MVP.
Yeah, I mean, if there was any doubters left, there shouldn't be now. I mean, the way he stepped up on this stage and ran through the ball, whatever it took for his team to win. I mean, that was a special performance that I don't want it to get lost in the loss that they had. I mean, even whenever we got all the momentum in that game and we went up 8 points in the fourth quarter, for him to respond and move his team right down the football field and run it in himself for the 2-point conversion, it was a special performance by him, man. And I mean, you make sure you appreciate that when you look back on this game.
How would you describe things, man? And how would you compare it to your
The first Super Bowl, I thought was, I mean, obviously I didn't win it the first year that I started, but I thought the first Super Bowl was just kind of like, oh, this is amazing. Like, we won the Super Bowl. Like, this is happy. Like, you're just like a little kid winning a prize at the fair. I mean, whereas this one, you've dealt with failure. You understand how hard it is to get back on this stage and to win this game. I mean, I played in a Super Bowl where I got blown out, where it was I got all hyped up, and then you go out there and you don't do anything. And then I'll lose the AFC Championship game in overtime. When I thought we had a chance to win the Super Bowl that year, and have a full brand new team and have to go through the strain of being better and better every single day, it gives you a greater appreciation for winning this game.
Patrick, do you feel like this is a greater achievement for the team than the last Super Bowl championship?
Yeah, I mean, it's a brand new team. I mean, every Super Bowl is something that you'll have for the rest of your life. I think there's only like 12 guys that were on that team that won that first Super Bowl. It might be a little bit more, but so have a brand new team with a lot of rookies playing that stepped up. I mean, we were down 10 points at halftime to probably the best team in the NFL all year long, and they're known for getting ahead of teams and kind of finishing the game off. And for those guys to step up and make those plays in that second half, man, it just speaks to the hard work they put in every single day. And luckily, a lot of those guys are young, so we'll have a lot of those guys back next year.
How do you think it helped you as a player to have to break in a new group of receivers, all those new guys?
Yeah, I had to become a better leader, and I've always vocally talked, but I had to take a next step in my leadership ability of how I showed guys how we work and how I couldn't let the little stuff slide because we have such great players around me that have done it for so long. And I had to teach the culture that we have here that I learned from Alex Smith and I learned from Derek Johnson. I had to teach those guys the culture of how we work and do things. And luckily for me, I have guys like Travis and Frank and Chris that helped me out with that as well. And man, I was proud of those guys, man, how they responded in this big game.
Patrick, this is the second time you come from behind in a Super Bowl. I know last Monday we were talking that you have ready to have dinner with the away with the Manning brothers, with Tysman, Stovak. What are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't even sunk in yet. I mean, to be down to a team like that and to come back and win the game, I wish I'd make it easier and not be down, but I feel like I play better when we are down. So I'll try to do whatever I can to learn how to not get in those situations and to start fast and finish faster. But I mean, you'll look back on these games the rest of your life, and you'll watch these games when they're on TV and stuff like that. And I'm just glad I get to enjoy it with some of the best men on earth.
Andy mentioned a lot of guys that
Patrick,
made
did
plays.
you have to get a painkilling shot at halftime? If not, what sort of treatment did you get at halftime on the ankle?
I did not get a painkilling shot, but we did some stuff to get it ready to go for that second half.
Andy mentioned a lot of different guys that make plays. How about the one that Jarrett McKinnon made in the moment, not getting in the end zone?
Yeah, I mean, to have a vet like that who knows, I mean, all year long he proved how smart he was on that football field. He's like another quarterback back there, and he made it a little closer than I wanted him to. We talked about it in the huddle before the play, but we needed it because I ended up losing so many yards when I was taking those knees. So it was a smart decision on him, and in that big of a moment, you want to run in and just score the touchdown. But we work on that stuff every single week to prepare ourselves for those moments. And I want to give a credit to Eric Bieniemy because even though sometimes we get tired of listening to them talking about those moments, they always seem to happen in the biggest games, and he makes sure we go over the details every single week about them.
Hey, Patrick, what made a difference for you guys coming back from 10 down in the second half?
I thought guys they embraced the moment. I think that's the biggest thing is that first half, we were playing, we were doing some good stuff, but I felt like guys were getting consumed by everything around us and not just going out there and playing and enjoying this game that we've played since we were little kids. Guys talked in the locker room, and we just said, let's leave it all out there. Let's leave it all out there for 30 minutes and see what happens at the end of the day. And I thought guys did that, and I think the biggest thing was the offensive line. I mean, the way they were able to protect me in that second half whenever we couldn't use those chips, we couldn't use that stuff to help them out against a great defensive line. That's the reason we won this game.
Patrick, what went through your mind on that play, that 26-yard scramble you took? It changed the game. Take us through that play, but it definitely wasn't the best phase of the game.
Yeah, no, they did a good job of covering the guys that I wanted to throw to. That was the biggest thing, and I got going upfield, and how the D-line rushed, it left the lane, and I thought once I got out, I don't know if you can see me running, I felt like someone was just right on my back the entire time. I haven't seen the play, but I'm like holding the ball up here somewhere. You just try to get in field goal range, man, and we have a great kicker, and you want to give him a chance to kick a field goal or score a touchdown, and we were able to get in that field goal range. We were smart at the end there, and he was able to kick the field goal to win the game.
We'll do a couple more. We'll go to Steve. Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
Patrick, to talk about Andy retiring, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it was news to me, and I mean, obviously, Coach Reed, I mean, he has every right to retire. He's done so many great things for so long, but I could tell by the way how much he enjoys this that's not anywhere in the near future, and I know that we'll have conversations before that moment happens, and whenever that time is right for him, we'll embrace it, man. But I'm glad that he's sticking around because we feel like the job's not finished.
Last one right here.
What did you
Go ahead.
discuss
Right
in the
here.
second half?
Nope, right here.
You talked about Andy gets the best out of you. Travis got emotional, talked about his leadership. And what does he mean to you guys, and how does he get that done?
Yeah, it's because I don't want to talk about all coaches, but he's the best coach I've ever had about how he connects with players from everywhere. And I think you heard Frank Clark talk about it during the media week that we did, is no matter where you're from, he can connect with you, and you can tell he cares about you as a man as much as he does about a player. And so if there's something that's going on in your life, he's going to ask you about it. He's not going to worry about how you're practicing or hey, he needs you to be better here and here. He's going to ask you what's going on. He's going to get that info from you, and he's going to do whatever he can to help. And I think that's been the biggest thing. That's why every player that leaves Coach Reed talks so highly of him, because it's not about, obviously he wants to win football games and be great, but he cares about the men that step in that locker room and how can he make them better whenever they leave it.
Okay, thanks, Patrick. Appreciate it.
Hey, what's up? Right time.